The power of daily decisions. There is something profoundly transformative about the small choices we make every day. Each decision, no matter how insignificant it may seem, shapes not only our material future, but also our spiritual journey. Silently, these choices have the power to bring us closer to our divine purpose or move us away from it. Have you ever stopped to reflect on the impact your daily choices can have on your spiritual life? It may seem simple, but when we look closer, we see that each act, from how we deal with others to how we treat ourselves, has repercussions on our spiritual growth. Spiritual responsibility lies not only in major moments of decision, such as choosing a career or making financial decisions, but also in small, everyday attitudes. And it is precisely in these small choices that the greatest test of our faith and ethics often lies. Did you know that spiritual awareness depends not only on moments of deep prayer, but also on how we live day to day? Perhaps you wonder, how can these small actions have such power over my spiritual journey? Well, it is at this intersection between the ordinary and the divine that true transformation occurs. It's not about seeking grandiose moments, but about infusing each gesture with the power of spiritual intention. As we reflect on our spiritual responsibility, we are called to realize that our daily actions are a direct reflection of our connection with the divine. What we do and how we act, even in the smallest situations, reveals much about where we are in our journey. The key to strengthening our relationship with the divine is not in isolated moments of devotion, but in the consistency with which we apply our faith in every moment of our lives. This understanding that small choices have great impact is a profound spiritual awakening. When we begin to understand that we are constantly being guided, that divine guidance is in every step we take, the responsibility of our actions takes on new weight. Each choice becomes an opportunity to align our life with spiritual teachings, a chance to contribute to our own energetic healing and inner peace. Now, imagine what happens when we begin to make these small choices with full awareness of their importance. The spiritual transformation that begins to occur is powerful, because we are not only building a better future for ourselves, but also for those around us. Each act of kindness, each moment of patience and understanding, each gesture of spiritual empathy makes our journey more aligned with the true inner peace we seek. Personal responsibility in building a spiritual future. The spiritual journey is not a straight road, but a trail full of forks and choices that directly reflect in our evolution. All of us, as spiritual beings on a journey of growth, are called to take responsibility for our actions and their consequences. But what does it really mean to assume spiritual responsibility? In many religious and spiritual traditions, the idea of personal responsibility is central. For Christians, this concept of responsibility is directly reflected in Christ's teachings. Love your neighbor as yourself. This phrase in itself carries great weight. It is not just a message of compassion, but a call to reflect on how our choices affect others, and more importantly, how our daily attitudes align us with the divine values of love, empathy, and respect. When we begin to reflect on our actions in light of this teaching, ethics becomes a central element of our spiritual practice. Spiritual ethics is not just about doing the right thing in front of others, but doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Spiritual responsibility requires that we take control of our attitudes, that we be authentic, and that we seek truth in our hearts. At this point in the journey, we can begin to see how personal responsibility directly affects our spiritual clarity. Small choices, such as being honest in a difficult conversation or acting with patience in the face of frustration, create waves of energy that reverberate in our lives. These waves have the power to transform us, elevating us to a higher state of spiritual consciousness and bringing us closer to the greater purpose that God has for us. Are you willing to take on this responsibility? Are you prepared to accept that the future you are building begins with the choices you make today? It is easy to fall into the illusion that we are powerless in the face of life's circumstances. But the truth is that by taking responsibility for our actions, we gain power over our own evolution. Each small decision has the potential to help us grow spiritually and become more aligned with the divine will. Spiritual ethics as a path to inner peace. What is inner peace really? Can it be achieved only in moments of deep meditation or spiritual retreat? Or is true peace built in the small choices of everyday life? In our spiritual journey, we often seek moments of serenity, of deep tranquility, where we feel more connected to the divine. However, true inner peace arises not only in these moments, but also in daily situations where we choose to live according to our spiritual ethics. Spiritual ethics is a set of principles that guides our actions so that, in all areas of our life, we can live honestly, fairly, and aligned with our divine purpose. Each action we take, from how we deal with people around us to how we treat ourselves, is an opportunity to practice these principles and build a more peaceful future. When we decide to live ethically, we are actually choosing a path that leads to a deeper connection with our inner being and with the divine. But how can we actually apply these principles in our daily lives? How can we transform spiritual ethics into concrete and practical actions? The answer may be simple, starting with small daily decisions. By choosing to act with spiritual empathy, for example, we are contributing to our own spiritual growth and also to the well-being of everyone around us. Each act of kindness, each moment of patience, each choice to act with honesty brings us closer to the inner peace we so desire. When we begin to incorporate these principles into our lives, our spiritual journey becomes clearer. Inner peace is not something distant, but something that can be lived in each moment, with each choice. And by doing this, we are not only transforming our own lives, but also positively influencing those around us. True peace comes when we understand that we are responsible for each action, and that our choices are, ultimately, what defines the quality of our spiritual life. Spiritual awakening through personal responsibility. Spiritual awakening is a journey of discovery that never ends. As we become aware of the importance of our actions and the consequences they bring, we are drawing closer to our true self and our divine purpose. Spiritual responsibility is not just about taking blame for mistakes, but about taking full responsibility for the choices we make and the direction we give to our lives. Spiritual awakening is intimately linked to our ability to live authentically and aligned with our deepest values. This requires that we be honest with ourselves, that we look at our actions with a critical and, at the same time, compassionate eye. When we take responsibility for our choices, we are, in fact, freeing ourselves from the bonds that prevent us from growing and transforming. The practice of spiritual responsibility is a vital step in this awakening process. By consciously assuming our choices, we make room for divine guidance in our lives. Spiritual awakening is not just about seeing things in a new way, but about acting with spiritual wisdom at every moment. Each choice we make, whether big or small, has the potential to bring us closer to our divine purpose and help us manifest the inner peace we seek. Transformation through spiritual responsibility. Spiritual transformation does not occur suddenly. It is a continuous process that happens as we take responsibility for our actions and understand the impact they have on our journey. When we become aware that we are primarily responsible for our spiritual evolution, we begin to act more consciously, choosing the path that leads to greater growth and inner peace. Each small choice we make has the power to transform us, molding us in the image of our higher spiritual being. Spiritual responsibility is the key to this transformation. When we begin to make choices that reflect our spiritual consciousness, our life begins to reflect a lasting peace that goes beyond external circumstances. Our true spiritual transformation begins when we recognize the power we have over our own lives and actions. The path of conscious action, reaping the fruits of spiritual responsibility. Throughout this journey, we have explored how daily choices shape our spiritual future and how personal responsibility and ethics connect us to something greater than ourselves. We now arrive at the crucial point of our path: conscious action. Spiritual responsibility, when practiced consistently, transforms into a powerful tool for fulfilling our divine purpose. But how can we apply all this understanding in a practical manner? How can we transform our spiritual responsibility into something tangible that directly impacts our life and the lives of others around us? The answer lies in acting with full awareness, consciously choosing each step of our spiritual journey. Imagine a farmer who, upon planting a seed, cares for it daily, watering it, providing the best possible environment for its growth. The farmer cannot rush the process but can ensure that the conditions for the plant to develop optimally are the most favorable. Such is our spiritual journey. Each small daily choice is a planted seed, and our responsibility is to care for that seed so it grows and bears fruit. This responsibility concerns not only what we do in moments of great challenge, but also what we do in the most common and everyday situations. How we react to difficulties, how we behave in small interactions with those around us, how we treat ourselves when no one is watching. All of this reflects our spiritual consciousness. Each action is an opportunity to do good, to spread light, to live according to divine teachings. And what happens when we begin to act in this way? The impact is profound. The transformation is not only internal but also external. As our actions align with our true spiritual essence, we are able to radiate peace, empathy, love, and wisdom to the world. But more importantly, we begin to reap the fruits of these choices. The inner peace that once seemed distant becomes a tangible reality, reflected in our relationships, our work, and even in our physical and emotional health. However, just like the farmer, conscious action requires patience. The process of spiritual transformation takes time. There are no shortcuts, and true spiritual responsibility is a daily practice. But the reward of this constant practice is a life of deep meaning, where each decision brings us closer to our divine mission and gives us a sense of peace and spiritual clarity. It is here that true spiritual responsibility reveals itself in all its depth. It is not about the weight of choices, but about the freedom that comes when we take control of our journey. When we understand that we are co-creators of our spiritual reality, the possibilities expand. The small decisions of everyday life, when made with intention and awareness, have the power to transform not only our life, but also the world around us. Now, looking ahead, you can see how much your spiritual journey is intertwined with your action. Spiritual responsibility is the key that opens doors to a future of true transformation. Conscious action is not a task, but an opportunity to live in harmony with the divine, spreading light and embracing wisdom with each step. The spiritual journey is never solitary. Each choice we make not only affects us, but affects those around us. And as we fully apply our spiritual responsibility, we create a network of positive energy that touches lives and transforms the world. What you do today, with full awareness of its importance, is what will build your spiritual future. And that future is full of possibilities, peace, and an even deeper connection with your divine essence. Now, what kind of conscious actions will you choose from this moment on? The power is in your hands. It is time to act with spiritual responsibility. If this video touched your heart and brought more clarity to your spiritual journey, share this light with others by leaving your like and subscribing to our channel. By doing this, you not only strengthen your connection with the divine, but also spread this message of peace and transformation to more souls. Together, we can grow spiritually and walk toward a future full of love and wisdom. May divine guidance continue to illuminate each step you take. Don't miss the next video in our journey of spiritual growth.